Become a member of the National At-Home Dad Network, an organization focused on providing advocacy, community, education, and support. Connecting with households where dad is the primary caregiver of the children. We do this through our webinar and podcast series, mental health support groups, regular online social events, as well as our annual convention. The National At-Home Dad Network is a 100% volunteer organization. Without the generous support of its members and the community around it, we would not be able to continue the work that we do. Becoming a member gives you access to past convention speaker presentations, the ability to vote for board members annually, and ensures that the organization's fees and bills are in positive standing. Oh yeah, it should not go unmentioned that there is some cool swag headed your way if you decide to become a member. For only $35 a year, your membership provides you with the exclusive content only we can generate, and you'll be supporting an organization that benefits families all around the country and world. By advocating for them, offering them community, providing education and guidance, and supporting them to grow in their parenthood journey. And one last thing, if you contribute $500 or more, you will become a lifetime member. Not only will you receive everything already mentioned, but also a certificate recognizing your status and an exclusive National At-Home Dad Network challenge coin with our trademark logo, Dads Don't Babysit. So, what are you waiting for? Become a member today. Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At-Home Dad Network. My name is Brock.
My name is Danny.
And we are here to talk about life as stay-at-home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight, got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet, cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I feel like I'm talking at an octave lower than normal due to being sick, but I'm here. And
it's your sexy baritone voice.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. You're gonna sing some blues now.
Pass me the lyrics to a good Johnny Cash song. I got you. Oh man. Yeah. Which, by the way, my 9-year-old is actually reading a book about Johnny Cash right now for class, which I thought was pretty cool.
That is cool. I don't want to think about how long ago Johnny Cash was. Like his hits. No, that was. So yeah, he's a historical figure now, and I'm like, oh, he was just yeah, he was a living legend for a while there, you know.
He was
ancient.
Crazy as it is, I honestly was not introduced to Johnny Cash until I was, into my 20s. So I think it wasn't until they actually did the Ring of Fire movie that I actually started to get interested in who he was.
Yeah, so you probably weren't ready for it.
It's very possible.
Just no slam. I don't mean that, but you just have to reach a certain level in life when you're ready to really take on Johnny Cash.
Yeah. I feel like once I did though, like I started to really just enjoy kind of like that old timey everything, and just had a very much like, I felt like I was like, oh, like I've got a little bit of an older way of thinking about things. I kind of like it. Like I like to be able to just kind of slow down and just enjoy it. So.
And it's kind of funny, but figuring out why someone is so famous,
right?
I mean, that's the moment of it. You're kind of, and I've done this, where I was just kind of catching up with the rest of the world and going, yeah, this is a pretty amazing person. I didn't know. I just kind of ignored them until they popped up for whatever reason. So.
There's a show that we like watching called The Masked Singer on Fox. And they bring in all kinds of different celebrities and, athletes and things like that. And you're just like, they all sing and they're all in these costumes, like big, like really elaborate costumes, which is really cool. And when you see some of them, you just know, you're like, you're not a singer, but you're trying, and it's hilarious type of deal. And then there are others where it's just like, you hear them sing, you're not sure who it is, but by golly, that person is somebody who you've heard before on the radio or whatever. And it's really funny to just the ones that really surprise you. Like, I didn't know you could sing, like NBA players, for instance, who actually like belted out and you're like, what? So like they had a Andrew Lloyd Webber night. It was the one we just watched, and it was really cool because one, I didn't know Andrew Lloyd Webber was even alive. So, and there he was.
Wow, yeah,
Yeah.
Sorry to be, yeah, but I'm right there with him. Like, oh wait, I thought he had passed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's definitely looking fragile, but he was there. I was amazed because I was like, I did not think he was alive, and he's a legend in himself, with Broadway plays and lyrics and all that. So, but yeah, it was very very cool to like see different people singing his songs and things like that. So, but yeah, it's always interesting to witness and meet people from that you haven't seen before. So definitely
and figure their talents and how talented they are where it goes far beyond what you've seen them do.
Definitely.
Yeah. That's why I like karaoke. Like take people go karaoke with them, and then they just get up there and it's either horrifying or it's just amazing, but either way, it's still fun, to get them to see. And you always go, oh, look at that. Wow, you have a voice, you're belting it. Let's go. Also, you learn the people that sing in the car a lot, 2 songs, because then they're singing and the song's not there. And they're like, what was the word? I'm reading it, but is that what that means? It's canoe. I've never said canoe. I've always been saying the blue. So.
Yeah. Speaking of karaoke, so at the brewery I just started working at, I've been going down the list of, what events have we held and that kind of thing. Apparently they used to do a live music karaoke. So they'd have like a guitar, guitars, drums, and maybe like a keyboardist or something like that. And they just bring people up from the audience to sing songs.
Yeah. It's almost open mic night there, man.
Pretty much. Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get.
Right? No kidding. Well, and I guess like the band would help them a little bit when they'd really get off course on the song or whatever. But they said for the most part, a lot of people that came out there, they were pretty impressed with the songs that they were singing. I was like, that sounds like a fun kind of different way of doing karaoke.
Yeah, definitely. Live music changes the whole feeling of it. So
yeah, I feel like karaoke is one of those things too. Like it's fun to do in groups. I feel like there's always a group from Home Dad Con that tries to go find karaoke. It seems like
we try. Yeah, it was fun. Cincinnati was great. I think that was the first. I think Minneapolis was the one before that, but I couldn't get anybody together and other things. But Cincy was great because we got out after everything and just went, and the place was dead, and we weren't even sure. I mean, all the lights were on; they were singing in there, but we really weren't sure it was open for just.
Was that on the Kentucky side?
Maybe. I don't know. I didn't drive. I didn't even know where we were going. Like, we're going to karaoke. Okay, I'll go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think Jeremy Haston kind of put it on for the most part because he really wanted to go sing.
That's cool.
And they served drinks and sushi.
Okay.
I recall. So yeah,
That's
it was very interesting.
I could see that happen in Milwaukee. I could definitely see that happen in Milwaukee.
Yeah, but definitely going to be serving cheese and beer. That's
cheese and beer. Now here's the thing, and maybe you can help me with this, but I keep seeing this thing on TikTok that has me very worried about going to Wisconsin, because apparently there's this like raw burger that they like. I don't know, man. I keep seeing it pop up where literally they're like, it's a bun, and they just like slap
to the Google Mobile, man. What
raw like it's like hamburger pate or something like that, and onions. And they just slap it on and eat it. Like I was like, what? It's not cooked. I was like, what is this weird thing? And they're saying that it's a Wisconsin thing. Like, and that's surprising to me.
I've got 2 articles. One, CBS News: Wisconsin warns against a holiday tradition, raw meat.
Yeah.
The risk of eating raw beef, also known as tiger meat, steak tartare, or raw beef and onions, are real. And then
is a Wisconsin thing?
Well, it says why the raw meat cannibal sandwich endures in Wisconsin. And oh God, they got a picture. No, man, I don't know. You're coming to the wrong man for this.
We need to get Greg Clapp on here and ask him about it.
No, he's going to be like, there's just a few people and we don't really claim them. We think they came from other states. We're pretty sure.
Now, I do hear, though, that it's not unusual to just go to a bar at 6 a.m. in the morning. Like, From what I understand, there are just bars open all the time up in the Wisconsin area.
Yeah, especially Milwaukee, especially any of the cities. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not around here. They literally, little town I live in, they roll up the sidewalks about 4:30 or 5, and you can go to like Walmart or the CVS. The pharmacy's open till 10.
Ooh.
And the reason the pharmacy's open till 10 is because at least half of the people that live here are on so many pills to keep them going, because they're all 65, 70, 85, 95, I don't know, but old time people that, all due respect, I do love old people, but that's a lot of medication. And every time I go to pick up my old people medication, it's packed. It's all the time. It's all, and I'm like, well, of course they stay open until 10. But we had contractors come in summer, August, and they all cut out at 4. I mean, you just done at 4. Huh? And I went, oh, are you guys leaving? Yeah, we'll be back in the morning. I'm like, okay, cool. When I go down and they get a lot of work done. They're working hard, but every day about 4:00 they were gone. And I couldn't figure it out until the sun stopped showing up. Goodness. And you realize that about 4:30 or 5, you need to be home, because it's dark and all the stars are out and the moon's out, and that's it. And the roads start to freeze. So, yeah.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, when it's getting cold up there, you definitely don't want to be caught out
nowhere too. I mean, it's all farms around us, all the farm country around us. So it's, yeah, if you live out more than 5 minutes from the little town here, I don't think you could make it home on a bad night. Just have to pull over somewhere. So yeah, 4:30, they're done. I mean, they're done.
Hey,
like I said, McDonald's and probably Walmart, Target, maybe, and the CVS. That's enough, I guess. Everything you need late at night. But I don't know anybody that eats cannibal sandwiches.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's
a German tradition.
Interesting.
Germany has a similar dish of minced raw pork or beef served on bread and seasoned with salt and pepper. There, it's called Met or Hackepeter.
Now, here's the thing. I spent time over in Germany, and I don't remember ever coming across that meal.
Well, let me just say, man, I live in Wisconsin. I've never heard of this cannibal sandwich you brought up either. So I'm thinking it's just a small part of like a culture thing. Like, oh no, they're the Altschwagers. There we go. There's somebody named Altschwagers. They eat that.
Some very interesting lore there going on. Yeah, the only thing Schwager I know is like brown Schwager. Had that before. That's pretty close to raw.
They said that the guy that's quoting it, he said, you may not speak the, when you move to a new country, some things persevere. You may not speak the language. You may not wear the clothes. You may not have the politics or, from your previous place, from your ancestors. That food is a memory, is a tradition that kind of ties you to where you come from. And that's very true.
True. Yeah, that makes sense.
The way you eat is a big part of it. And the next sentence, which is why I brought this quote up, says it's pretty natural that it would come along with beer and bratwurst.
Yeah.
Beer and bratwurst is absolutely everywhere here. And I guess cannibal sandwiches.
I guess that's the next step in. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know, man.
I feel a competition coming on for Home Dad Con.
Man, you're gonna die. Somebody will get food poisoning and die. It's not. You can't make it. Hey, who wants to die today? Come on, it's for a good cause. We'll get the donations going, and Danny will eat a raw burger. We call it a cannibal sandwich, and it's just onions and a bun and raw meat. Man, no.
Yum.
Put some salt and pepper. Now, see,
we get the Liver King to come and eat it. I don't know. Yikes. No. Okay, well, I think we'll change subjects now.
I'd give a guy $10 to see him eat this burger.
You would give? Wow.
I would. Yeah. Here's $10. Eat that burger. See what happens. It's like a high school dare. You ever do anything dumb in high school because somebody dared you? Yes. What was it?
What did I do?
Somebody
I know.
Gave,
no, I know. Yep. So I snuck into the varsity girls' locker room and got stuck in there, trying to get something out of the utility closet in the back because I was trying to play a prank on their managers.
You got stuck in there. Was that a dare, or did someone
It was a dare to go in.
Dare you to go in there, and they close the door behind you.
It was a dare to get in there. Well, I got
It's
in there.
locked in now. That's hazing.
But
That's hazing, not.
I don't know, man. Just depends how you look on it.
Those people are not your friends.
Well, I think what it was is they thought that one team was going to go in. It ended up being a completely different. Like, it was supposed to be the basketball team that came in, which I could have snuck out a little bit easier, but ended up being the gymnastics team instead. I was like, oh shoot. So that was a little bit harder, but yeah, I ended up I was able to sneak out the back door. So that was at least helpful. The worst part was
the gymnast.
Well, the worst part was trying to get back in that because I had to go outside and then I had to get around to get back in there.
Back into school
and make it not look awkward that I was walking back in after everybody knew I'd been in the building the whole time. So
nice.
Coming in that way. So yeah,
Nothing.
That's about it for me, really. I don't know. Other than that, I was pretty low key as a kid, honestly.
Well, somebody dared me to eat a stick of butter.
Oh,
Give me $1 to eat a stick of butter, and I went for $1. Okay. No.
Stick of butter.
There's because this part's gross, all right, and you may want to edit this out, but I'm just going to tell you. So there was 2 guys that were on the football team, and I wasn't on the I was on the football team for like one practice, and then I quit. So there was 2 boys on there, and the one boy would eat a hot dog, and he would take it and he would just eat it whole. He would just shove it down his throat and swallow it and swallow it and swallow it. Damn. And then they'd go run and go work out and do our, sprints and wind sprints and all that garbage so that he would throw up.
Oh God.
And he would throw up an entire hot dog right there on the thing. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
The other guy would eat it.
Oh gosh. They were a tag team.
They were like dogs, man. It was the worst. Mm-hmm. And they said, come on, Mercer, here. I'll give you $1 to eat this stick of butter. And I'm like, I can eat a stick of butter for $1. That's not a problem.
They just had a random stick of butter in the locker room.
No.
I have so many questions right now.
What were you doing with it? This is our butter supply. We just keep it on hand just in case. Greasing up the ball.
Oh my God.
The football. Swear.
Oh,
yeah.
It's getting interesting out there.
Banjo music?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Yeah.
Oh my.
It was food things I would always do. That's
food challenges. I feel like food challenge is definitely something that happens a lot when you're in high school and college for sure.
I drank A1 sauce out of a bottle with a straw.
Ooh, yeah.
That was rough. But again, and that wasn't even a dare. That was just we were doing stupid stuff. And I'm like, we all had butter shots. All right. So you get that butter, that little round things of butter that comes to, and it's not a theme here at all. I'm just saying, and this just happens to be the thing. But we all, instead of drinking alcohol, they'd bring the little honey butter to the table at the restaurant we go to all the time, and it would melt. It's mostly melt. It was somewhat melted, half melted. And everybody would like, cheers. And we'd take the lid off and we'd each drink the thing of butter.
Whew,
and
okay.
And my buddy, he said, that ain't nothing. And he got the A1 bottle in a straw and sucked right out of it. And I'm like, okay, I can do that.
Holy smokes.
And I did. And I regret it now.
Whew.
It still hurts me. I can just tell.
Yeah, that would scar. That would scar me. I think that would be. That's what that would.
You want some A1 on your steak? No. Keep this up with me.
Never. I only have. I have a thing with that with chocolate martinis, but that's a whole nother story. So it doesn't. That's like it wasn't even a challenge. It was more just I drank too many chocolate martinis, and now they scare me. So bad memories. But
go ahead.
Something that came through a message. From one of our listeners, we had asked people to send us their sort of like things that they're wanting to do for 2023, like their goals or whatever. And I've only seen one so far come through. It actually came from our buddy Tony Hernandez, and he said that he's wanting to learn how to be more learn marketable computer skills for the first half of the year. And his second goal is to find a job or to create one which generates a good income.
Nice.
Yeah, I think those are great.
Tony's child is 13. So he's old enough to where Tony has kind of moved into management. And I think it's a good goal for it.
Yep. I will say that YouTube 101 is great for learning things.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many good tutorials for how to, especially marketable like computer skills.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of good places. I mean, the things that I know about social media and marketing, honestly, the majority of them have come from just watching YouTube videos and learning from people like that. So,
well, it's almost like on the job training where you go somewhere and you just listen to somebody that knows what they're doing. You watch what they do and you start to mimic it.
yeah,
You know, and that's kind of what it is when you do anything with YouTube is, you know, wow, I forgot how to wire an outlet. Well, let me go look it up. And you just watch some person go in there, doop, 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 and done. So,
yep. And that's the thing I think with Tony's background and the stuff that he does, if you know, learn if he doing some, because I know that he oversees, I think it's overseas properties or whatever, but using those skills to basically kind of rent himself out as a handyman is definitely one way to generate some good income. There's always people that have just little jobs here and there that they just either don't have the time or skills to know how to do. And if you can jump in and knock it out, like that's some good money right there.
and so all of our listeners will know if they don't know Tony, and they should, because he's a great guy. So you should go meet him. But he is, I'm just going to say, older than me. So I'm not going to say, I don't have no reason to say how old he is, but just because
he is wise beyond your years.
He is definitely. And no matter where you are in your life, if you look at it, you can take what you've done and continue with a different job than this one, whether it's getting a degree or something while you're in this job, or just like you said, picking up learning from, you know, online sources. I think people need to understand that this job, because it is so relentless, because it can take so much out of you, that you can go on. You know, once your kids get to a certain age, or you just make the decision with your family, like, this isn't working for me anymore. That step from, I'm going to go put in an application, or I'm working on my resume. What do I put for the last 3, 4, 5, 15 years of your life? You know, what do I put on there? What can I say that'll take up for that gap?
Yeah.
Well, there's plenty of things, first, plenty of skills that you've learned, and plenty of things you learned to handle that you never could handle before, but also that there is the opportunity to go to something else if that's, you know, where you end up doing. And I wish Tony the best of luck in his 2023 goals.
Definitely. I think too, like, you know, just like you were talking about, with learning different things, especially when if you know, we got a lot of guys who are brand new to being stay-at-home dads that are just trying to kind of figure out that role, but at the same time too, like, find some way to be busy or to use their knowledge and skills to keep themselves sharp. And I honestly feel like getting involved, like volunteering, if you know, if your kids, where they're in school or preschool or whatever, and they're looking for help, like, that's a great way, like, to, you know, try to get involved that way. Another way is, I mean, just to get involved with this organization, honestly, and all the different volunteer things that there are to do, because I mean, the things that I've done are what got me my job. And by God, I got a good paying job out of just, you know, doing 3 or 4 years of volunteering in different ways here in the organization. And honestly, my employers were super happy to have me, and really didn't have a whole lot of questions as to, oh, well, you were a stay-at-home dad, so you weren't doing much of anything. And it's like, no, actually, I was doing all these volunteer things, and they were very impressed by it. And that's, you know, big reason why I got hired. So it comes down to, I feel like for a lot of people though, is can I be used? You know, can I be put in a place somewhere? It's like, you can definitely, if you've got something to bring to the table, like, we've got a spot for you, honestly. And I just wanted to put that out there. Like, we put out a newsletter today, which by the time you get this will be about a week late, but there was a newsletter that goes out usually within the first 12 days. We try to get a newsletter out. And the person who's been really holding the helm on that has been Joshua Bernstein, and we highlighted him for this month's newsletter. But honestly, like, he's somebody who just came to us and said, hey, like, I have these skills, I'd like to use them. And I was like, this is awesome. Like, this is exactly something that we need. and we can put you in this place and get you moving along, and you won't be by yourself because you're going to be connected with the board and other people who are volunteering to be able to shoot ideas off of. And he's flourished, and it's been great. And the newsletter has shown that as well.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. I've told him that personally, but I'm happy to say it in public too. He's really, really helped out a lot.
Definitely. And there's many other guys like him who are going to start showing up in the newsletter, honestly, to, are going to get spotlighted for the things that they've been doing. And they deserve every bit of the accolades for it. So we've got some guys from the past too that I definitely want to shine light on as well, because if it wasn't for some of our veteran guys, our OGs that kind of got the ball rolling, we wouldn't be in the place that we are. And I feel like some of them need to be shouted out a little bit as well. So we'll be putting them out in the newsletter also. But if you're somebody that's, after hearing this, is like, well, I'd like to do that, we'll put in the description the email for you to get in touch of, and you can talk with Quetzal Torres. Quetzal was part of the board. He just stepped down just this year, and he's taken on sort of overseeing the volunteer stuff. And I'm really happy that he has, because he's just really good at helping get guys connected in the right place to give them a place to shine. So I'll have that in the show notes for everybody to be able to get in contact with him.
Cool. He's definitely somebody to get in contact with. I like Quetzal.
I do too. Yeah, he's a good guy.
So long. Well, actually, he was one of the first. He was at the first convention that I went to. It was.
He was voted
really
in.
Cool knowing him.
Yeah, he was voted in to the board the same year I was. So that's down in Orlando. It was the first time I got to meet him.
Yeah.
So yeah. we pretty much just hit it off really well, and it's interesting to see guys who they stick around and they want to continue to do stuff, and he's one of those that definitely wants to be like that. So it's great to have guys like that for sure. So. But yeah, man, so that's one of the things that's going on. I'm excited about the Home Dad Con. I know that it's in September, but boy, oh boy, the news coming out in it, that's going to be coming out with just the committee that's building this thing. These guys, they are a force to be reckoned with. I mean, being behind the scenes and watching them go on and talk about all the different areas that they're trying to do and activities that they're trying to build, and going after different speakers, it's pretty impressive. Yeah,
and the speed with which they're doing things, and I'm not saying that in previous years it wasn't this fast. I mean, like anything like that, but it's just impressive.
It took off like a rocket.
Going. Oh, you want this? Yeah, we'll do this. Hey, we got this. You want to do this? And they're just all these, and it's really cool because at least every one of the dads from that area has at least one person that they have an in with. Somebody that they get, well, I actually happen to know so-and-so, or I know a group of people that do this. And it's really telling of the community there, Yeah. And their dad's group is still meeting regularly, very strong, had 20 people at their last dad's get together. I'm pretty sure that's City Dads.
It is a City Dads.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a City Dads group. So
yeah, it's actually one of the more active City Dads groups, honestly, right now. So they've been really pushing along.
Understandably. I mean, the guys are just really good at what you need somebody to do to keep a dad's group going.
Yeah. No, definitely. And one of the things too that I find to be one of the harder things when you're organizing and planning a convention is picking speakers and presenters for different breakout sessions and things like that. And they're definitely gathering those up. But the one thing that I really can appreciate, and I think that the folks that are in the JDI committee are also helping kind of push along, is the idea of greater representation of, just different backgrounds, different cultures, that kind of thing. And honestly, I feel like in years past, there's been folks that have been like, I'd like to present, but I don't know, am I welcome to? Like, that kind of deal. And I just kind of want to put it out. I really want to just put it out there that if you're somebody who feels like you're underrepresented, or if you're somebody that's felt like, well, I'd like to, to talk to everybody about this subject or present on this or something like that, like to not hesitate to do it. Because honestly, like, they're looking for all kinds of different topics and different ways to go with things. But at the same time too, like the representation of more than just, for lack of better words, a bunch of white guys, because it really, I mean, there is a lot of that. And so to have more than just a bunch of, white men or even white women presenting the entire time at the convention, to have folks from different from the LGBTQ community to just other ethnicities, like if you got something to speak on that deals with fatherhood or parenting, or you got some activity that parents should get involved in, kind of thing, and you want to show how it is that you've been able to do it, like those are all different areas that they're looking forward to bring into this convention and conventions in the future too. So like if you don't get picked for this one, there's always another.
Yep. And for the board too, we're just in every way that we can, the JDEI community is just working towards making sure that we're representing all dads.
Yeah.
Whatever their situation is, that one, we're representing them as much as we can. And but two, that we are at least making space for them, and saying, no, we all have a place at this table, and there's nothing that's going to hold you back, no matter where you are in your life, what background you have, what you represent, or who you are, as long as you're falling in the line with a JDEI mindset. And again, that for anybody that knows, it's justice, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Diversity, I think, being the biggest thing for us right now, is that we look at our organization and we look at our conventions and we look at our board, and we want to make sure that we are diverse, that we do have just everybody at the table having a talk. So
yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. Those are the things that continue to make this community grow. And yeah, I'm excited to see where it's going to go. Also too, like, I don't know that we've really talked about this or not. Have we really brought up the fact that there's a new pillar that got added to
Nope.
To the organization?
Nope, because it's so brand new. It's been mentioned in some places, but I don't know that we've necessarily had the conversation.
I know not everything's been updated on it, like as far as logos and stuff like that. We're still kind of doing that, but I feel like maybe I don't know. Maybe we need to bring Grady on, and we'll let him talk about it, because it was sort of
he's got to be here at some point.
I know he needs to get in here.
Come on, Grady.
We'll tease it. We got to get him in here, and then he can talk about it more at that point. So we'll leave that as a teaser for hopefully getting him on. I know next week we got Sergio coming in, so
yep.
So that'll be exciting to hear from him.
Sergio, our racehorse. Yeah, the dude is just doing just one of those guys, not just for a lot of different reasons, but he's just doing it all. He's just getting the work done. And it's never, it's very rarely, it's always something that somebody needs to do it. And either we don't know how, like LinkedIn is an example. That's in my mind, that's one of the first things that comes to mind, because I never did anything with LinkedIn. Why would I? I'm not a business person. I'm not a corporate person. I'm not looking for a job. I don't even know what LinkedIn is. However, as an organization, we need a presence. I feel like
he's the first board member to understand what LinkedIn actually is and how it works.
Yeah.
The rest of us are like, oh, we have one. Okay. What do we do with
it? Right. And he's that way in so many ways across social media. Is, of course, a big, strong suit of his for many reasons. He's got his own community, and he's done amazing things with his podcast. And yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to him again.
Definitely. Might have to sit. I'm hoping it's nice out next week, because I want to sit outside and smoke a cigar while we record with him next week.
Cool. Yeah. So I don't think I'll be joining you, but we'll see.
I hope you are. I understand.
Well, I'm talking weather more than all the personal stuff. I don't know what the weather's going to be like the second week of January, but yeah, maybe I will. I don't know, because that's my birthday, so maybe I'll.
Well, there you go.
I'll make it happen. Go sit outside and check the weather, and maybe sit in the workshop or the garage or something.
I was gonna say, I thought you had your own little smoking area. That's what I've been jealous about.
Yeah, it's not working well enough for me to want to do it regularly.
I see.
There's no smoke in the house, but I need to get my actual exhaust fan that's for cigar smoking installed, as opposed to just I've got some airflow to outside, which is
Okay.
what it is now. And just because, what if I'm getting a lot of secondhand smoke and don't realize it?
Mm.
And even my own secondhand smoke is just terrible. So, yeah, I don't inhale, and I don't want to inhale. So, yeah, I probably won't do that.
It's all good. Oh, hey, you were talking about JDEI stuff, and I with the new job that I have, one of the things that they do at the brewery on a quarterly basis is they do a drag brunch.
Mhm.
And I've yet to get to go to one. There's one coming up here in a couple of weeks or whatever, so it'll be interesting to go to or whatever. But it was funny. I was talking with the person who has been overseeing the events for a while, and they were just like, "How do you feel about drag brunches?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? How do I feel about it?" She's like, "Well, are you for them or are you against them?" I'm like, "I've never been to one, so I can't say either way, but I will say that I've been involved with a nonprofit that's very inclusive, and learned a lot in that time period. And so it's not like I'm against it. I've just never been to one, so I don't know exactly what I'm getting involved in, other than the fact that I've already seen negative comments from the public over it. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm very adverse in dealing with that as well, being part of the nonprofit. So, and those are the people you just block and forget about. So I
Yep.
was like, don't need your business. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, that's exactly how we respond to him as well. I was like, well, then I think we'll do okay.
Yeah, you should be fine.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how it looks. But they're selling those bad boys out at like 120, 130 a person for an event. And it's a ticketed event. People are paying to go to it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty awesome deal that they've been able to do them there.
If you look at the entertainment value, a drag show is just fantastic. So yeah, I could see $100 a pop. That would, it would surprise me here in the middle of Wisconsin, just because there's not really anybody here that would even understand what was going on. But like Milwaukee or Madison or some of the big cities,
Oh, sure.
straight up, let's go.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. So that was very just interesting. I'm like, yeah, like I have no problem with that. Actually, I think that was a part of my my interview process. Even they were asking about that.
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm good. It's okay. Like
It's a very important.
it is a very
question,
important. No,
know?
they're not wrong. It
It's-
is a very important question for sure.
We're asking about, because we're looking at making friends here in this area, and there's a meme going around about it. It's how do you? It's very, very easy now. Like, you just ask someone some direct questions. It's like, who did you vote for? Where were you on January 6th? And were you mad that the mermaid was black?
Wow.
And
Okay.
those three questions are pretty much going to tell me how much fun we're going to have talking or whatever, and where you're at. And I say politically, but really socially.
Right.
Where's your stance on these things? And if it's so, I mean, if you hit all three negatives on that one, I'm afraid we cannot have a conversation. It's obvious we're talking
You're in two different
languages.
camps. Yeah.
Yeah, just not speaking the same language at all. But yeah, but it made it really easy too. And they were talking about how dating probably is a lot easier now. And this cut some people, I'm sure. But the meme was, it's very simple now to find out if someone is someone you want to date, but ask them if they wore a mask during the pandemic. Because one, if they wore a mask, they believe in science, and they're probably of average or above average intelligence, because that's, so you understand what science is, you would wear a mask. But more importantly, most people don't understand you weren't wearing a mask to keep from getting COVID. You're wearing a mask to keep from potentially giving someone COVID as well, even
Right.
more so. And it was about, do you care about your community? Are you willing to put yourself out or give yourself some discomfort to help your community be safe?
It is
And it was
interesting
like,
that's that
it's a
those are
perfect
the
question.
It is.
Did you wear a mask during the pandemic? Yeah. Oh, okay. Then we can talk. Evidently, you're a compassionate person.
Our conversation can continue.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's very, so many ways. I mean, they looked at like what happened in 1920. And then in 2020, it seems like every 100 years, I think 1820, there was something as well. And it's a pandemic shows up, and it's how people respond, of course, but in a huge way, not just the loss of life and the discomfort and sickness people go through, but also the change in the complete culture.
Yeah.
Of like working remote was, there's no way no one would do that. And now we have, which leads us into the influx of at-home dads, but so many people that work from home, work remotely, and get more work done.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it's just, that's not something that could have happened unless we had the quarantine. It just would not have ever come to pass. So,
oh yeah, definitely. I mean, just from
world changing.
My wife's work being in the financial industry, I mean, they very strict about not being a remote type of situation, just because they weren't sure how that would work, security, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, got forced into it, and it worked out really well, actually. And that company in particular did really well. And so it's one of those deals where it's like I think they only have to go in the office for like one full week a month now, which pretty awesome, honestly. And it's one of those things too, where a lot of businesses, they've hired themselves out of their building to the point where if they called everybody back, they wouldn't be able to put them in a place anyways. So
right.
A lot of people, or a lot of companies for that matter, are, considering like, okay, do we just get a smaller office for like core people, or do we just like completely like, break it down to where we're doing everything remote? Like, what does it look like? So not a bad idea.
It's the same change as retail had many years ago, from so much being brick and mortar. Everything, you have to go to that store and get that thing. I don't have to go to the store. There's 99% of the stuff, if I'm willing to get it from anywhere, and I'm not, I don't want to buy local, and I don't want to be particular, I want light bulbs. They don't make light bulbs well, at least not in our county. I don't know where they make light bulbs when I think about it, but I can just order them.
Yeah.
And that change from brick and mortar to digital was so devastating to so many companies and so many little businesses, and yet so liberating for the general public, and so good for the general public. And now it's done the same thing in the business world.
Yeah.
And like you said, the brick and mortar offices are just, I don't think we need that.
There's a print company here in town that they have all these different designs, and it's fun because they got two or three different locations you can go to. But if there's something that you want that's not in the like color shirt you want, or whatever it is, they have like print on demand machines. And so you can literally just be like, I want that design on that shirt. And it's like, okay. And they just, boom, do it right then and there. And there you go. You got your shirt, and out you walk.
And 3D printing. I mean, I love living in the future. They 3D printed a house.
What?
Yeah, they 3D printed a house.
Wow.
It's a big foam, and I can't remember what exactly the materials are, but they 3D printed a house, and and it took like a day. It wasn't a huge house, obviously, but yeah. And they've 3D printed stainless steel.
Wow.
Which to me is just, being a wannabe blacksmith, that is just epic future. This is just legend waiting to happen, because we talked about it in the past that, like on the International Space Station was a great example. They have a 3D printer, and if you need a tool, you can get the schematic and print that tool, and it will be strong enough to do the job for a certain duration. It's going to be a plastic tool, so you only get out of it what you want. But if you need a crescent wrench, and I'm like, you 3D print a crescent wrench? That makes no sense. How do you do the threads? That's just what, you're blowing my mind here, because it's all one continuous thread. How do you do that? But they do. And now they're doing it with stainless steel. So you can imagine 10 years from now, you go to the hardware store and be like, oh, hey, I need a number 3 screw, but I need it to be, I don't know, let's say 9 inches long, which would not happen, but 9 inches long. And they were like, oh, okay, we don't have any, but for, $13, we'll print you 5. Just
right
there you go. It's just crazy.
That is crazy. Yeah. I'm looking at this 3D printed house you're talking about. Wow,
right?
it looks really nice too. I mean, I'd live
Yeah,
in it.
it's not. Yeah, you don't. Yeah, right. And the thing is, too, is if you can get the cost down on that, and you can build that house in a day, and you can put those up as semi-temporary structures if you need to. I need this for a year for hurricane relief or something like that. I need an office. Okay, well, here we can bring it in on a trailer, which is horrible to do to try to get a trust me to get a trailer into a hurricane area. It's destroyed area. It's just terrible. There's no roads, but okay, well, instead, let's just bring the machine in, and the machine will just print everything that we need. It's mind boggling. It really is. I love 3D printing.
No, that's cool, man.
My 3D printer up and running, in fact, but maybe next week.
3D printers. Yeah.
Off on a tangent here, man. That's what we do. Rabbit trailing off into what are we talking about? 3D printing a house? What? Thought we were talking about volunteers.
All right, well, let's turn the corner on another thing. Then we'll talk about something else that's sort of rabbit trailers. Did you hear what happened in the world of the MCU last week? I think it was last week.
No, I don't think so.
Hawkeye got run over by a plow truck.
Oh, yeah. Runner got hit by a snowplow. Yeah.
And that was crazy.
I mean, and it's like a full-on snowplow. It wasn't like,
no.
When I first thought, I thought it was a snow blower. I thought when I read it, I'm like, what do you, like his snowblower ran over and we had to go to the hospital. Okay, well, that's bad. It probably broke his ankle or something. That's he didn't get his arm caught off. That's good. So
he's just in critical condition. He got crushed.
Straight up snowplow just wrecked him. But he's been posting pictures and evidently, I don't know currently, but evidently he's doing well, I hope.
From what I understand, he's doing all right. But yeah, that was pretty wild. And then too, like here in Cincinnati, you had the whole Damar Hamlin situation that took place with you heard about him, right? In the cardiac arrest on the field. No. So
I don't know who Damar Hamlin is.
Okay. So during the Monday Night Football game against the Bengals and the Bills, they were like, I don't even know. There was like 5 minutes left to go in the first quarter. And Bengals had the ball and they were running, and Damar is a safety for the Bills. He tackles the Bengals player, and the way that the tackle went down, it was very textbook, but the way that when they fell on the ground, the shoulder pads, it seemed like from the Bengal player, like hit Damar like in the heart, like right in the chest. And so tackle happens, he pops up and literally just stops. And it's almost like he was just like stupefied, like Harry Potter style, and just fell straight back. Didn't even like try to brace himself, just fell straight back and went into cardiac arrest. And like right in the middle of the field. And it was due to the quick actions of the Buffalo Bills training staff and the medical personnel that were there. They were able to, after 9 minutes of CPR and an AED shock, they were able to bring him back and get his heart going, to get him in the ambulance, get him on his way. They had to revive him again on the way there, but he was in the hospital from that Monday night up until yesterday. And he was just released yesterday to Buffalo, but he's walking, talking, all these things. And they really did not expect him to recover to that extent. But like the whole country like rallied around this guy in a way that just was like, he wasn't an NFL player. He wasn't he wasn't a black man. He was a human being who had obtained a serious injury in front of like the world audience. And it was wild, like just amazingly like a lot of people were talking about like the power of prayer and, just all these other different things. And he's a man of faith himself and stuff. And it was just a really wild experience to witness, especially here in town, just through different updates. What was really cool too out of it was that like this guy, he's 24 years old, and he had started up a fund to buy Christmas toys for kids in the Buffalo area, and his goal was like $2,500 to like raise or whatever. By midnight that night of Monday Night Football, there was $3 million in that account. And
wow.
Yeah, and I believe he's about to crest like $7 million in that account. I know that the Cincy shirts here in town created 3 different T-shirt designs, and they were like $20 a piece, and every like 100% of the proceeds from those shirts went to that as well. And I think they raised like what they raised like $150,000 or something crazy. Like I don't even know. Like, but yeah, just it's been very interesting to like see how everybody's just kind of come together on this tree. Also, it's pushed people to realize like I should get CPR certified. Like,
Yeah.
and I think that's to me, like that's probably one of the biggest things to come out of it is for people to realize like, oh, CPR certification. Like I used to probably joke about that would be something to go do with the Salvation Army or the YMCA or whatever. But in all honesty, like it's the thing that saved that guy's life was the ability to know how to do that properly. And how many times, is someone been in a situation where they just didn't know what to do to help out? So hopefully it pushes people to go out and do that. I know that that's something that I'm going to be getting training for here really soon. But I think that as primary caregivers, if you aren't CPR certified, man, like find some place to go and do it. Like it's worth it.
And just know how to take care of your baby if they're choking. You know what to do. Your child is, because there's such a huge difference. Like if we were out to eat and you started choking, and it was actual choking, I could probably give you the Heimlich and we'd be okay. You cannot give a toddler or a baby at the Heimlich. And what do you do? And if you don't have that training, you're going to panic. And panicking is how we lose people. Panic is really the issues. Nobody did anything. Nobody thought to do anything. So that's CPR is definitely something we need to. I think everyone would benefit from knowing CPR and first aid. Come on.
I think they said that the amount of people that were signing up for CPR classes through like the Salvation Army's like national website, I believe it crashed it the next day.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. They're like, we might get like what they say, like 2,500 people like a month or something like that. And they said they had like 30,000 people like jump on there.
Boom.
Like, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot to take on for sure. And to try to, your website just goes,
yeah, right. Yeah. We're not ready for we're just going to go to sleep now. Okay.
No kidding. That poor IT guy.
Right. Working remotely though, so he's all right.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. But anyway,
before we ended up, because I know we're running out of time. Did you happen to watch the Georgia Bulldogs last night before last?
Oh man, I watched like it on my app, just the score just run up to the point where it was just stupid, like so bad.
I'm a Bulldogs fan to a point. My family, my dad and my 2 half brothers, absolutely Bulldogs fans. They love the Bulldogs. They love that I moved up here because the Packers gave the G to the Georgia Bulldogs, and my dad was a Packers fan. Because I really prefer the Bulldogs. Man, my wife's family was watching it too, and they said, sorry, Danny, we're not going to be able to finish this game. I'm like, oh, is something wrong? Because I certainly wasn't watching it. And they go, well, yeah, it's like 49-7 or something like that. And I went, what? How can that? Yeah, and it's not even halftime. I don't remember the exact conversation, but it ended up being 65 to 7. That's just 7. Nobody wants to see that. I mean, I'm sure even the Bulldogs were like, yeah, we're winning, but God, can you guys at least score a couple? Come on.
They were in like their second, I think they went into like their second or third string quarterback and line for that matter, if I'm not mistaken. Wow. Like they pulled everybody because I believe I heard a story where the NCAA officials actually came over and like at halftime and told them like, hey, like y'all need to take your foot off the gas on this thing. And so they were like, all right. So they put in everybody. I think everybody on their team got to play.
Everybody off the bench. Let's go. No I got a broken leg. No, you'll be fine. Trust me. You're still going to excel.
Hey, water boy, we need you in here too.
Right. Where's the water boy?
Rudy. Rudiger's getting in.
Something wrong with his medulla oblongata.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was That was pretty that was pretty horrific to
Oh yeah, I couldn't believe. I mean, I was like, oh yeah, you know, because I knew my dad would be happy, and you know, some of my family would be happy. Yeah, the Bulldogs are winning. Oh no, that's not winning. That's a massacre. I just
no, they could have called that game at halftime. It was that bad. So yeah, I didn't watch much of that. I wasn't too interested in it. I figured it wasn't going to be really worth my attention, honestly. So
yeah,
I spent more time just having time spending with my wife last night, just relaxing since we've both been sick. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I got for the show, man. I think that we've covered quite a bit, and I got nothing else.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, good night. We'll see you next week, and we'll have Sergio on. So if you got cigar questions, throw them our way so that we can ask them.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.